All right, what's poppin', everybody? It's your boy Armon, and we're back with another video. Get in here, get in here. We got to get into some things, okay? All right, so I want to give my honest opinion on this Nicki Minaj, JT alleged kind of situation that's happening here, right? So on yesterday, JT's album dropped, City Cinderella, and everybody's been giving rave reviews. People like it. A lot of people are really liking the album. And, you know, Nicki Minaj, she was seemingly really quiet during that drop, which was interesting, considering the fact that, you know, they are friends or they've had relationships. They've done collabs together. They've been on lives together. Nicki wanted JT to be a heavy on it affiliate at one point. You know, she's brought JT out on tour. That was one of the happiest moments of JT's life. She was so excited about it. And so there was a rapport there. I believe she was following her on Twitter. I don't know, so I'm not gonna just confirm that she was or she wasn't. But I just feel like, how could you not have been following her on Twitter? You were gonna make her a whole heavy on it affiliate. You were sharing her. She was the princess. You did a record with her. You brought her out on stage. You even made her your profile picture avatar on, you know, when she was beefing with Cardi B. Then you also follow her on Instagram. So I just don't see why you wouldn't follow her on Twitter. So, but yesterday, Twitter was kind of in shambles because they're like, well, something is going on with JT and Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj was allegedly on Station Head throwing shade at JT. All right. In true Nicki Minaj forms, it was like in riddles, you know, talking about smart barbs. And if you get it, are you dumb Nikas or smart Nikas? She really didn't say anything very clear for you to understand if she was talking to JT or not. So it was very up in the air. You have a lot of people saying she was talking to JT. You have some people saying, she wasn't talking to JT. Then you also have some people saying, well, Nicki must be the problem because she's falling out with every girl that wants, you know, to grow and blossom, right? And so I said, well, let me try to pull it together and kind of make my own assumption, you know? So here are my thoughts. For me, I felt like something wasn't sweet in the water, sweet in the milk, clean in the water, clean in the milk back in April, you know, when Nicki Minaj was talking about garage sale tours and, you know, she was mentioning how, you know, these girls try to copy the sauce and copy what Nicki is doing. And for me, a lot of people didn't understand like what that was or what I was talking about. And they were trying to say it was about Megan Thee Stallion. But for me, Megan Thee Stallion was not on tour during that time. Also, Megan Thee Stallion doesn't do the same things that Nicki does as far as marketing. So the only person that could have been to me during that time, if you looked around, was JT. She was doing smaller tours. And she was actually selling merchandise, doing like little pop-up shops for her tour. So for me, you know, and then JT had got into it with Glorilla. Glorilla called her a backyard barbecue, you know, tour. And then Nicki Minaj came and said garage sale tour, you know, because for the pop-up shops and the smaller venues. That was what I thought. So I already felt like it was something going on. And then you just know it was an energy shift. The engagement had fallen off. The overstimulating conversations between them and the hyper sharing and retweeting and all the fanfare and love just kind of dissipated and went away out of nowhere. And so for me, I'm just an empathic person. So I just start to feel like, okay, something in this energy is shifting a different way. And you can always tell when Nicki's kind of pulled away and the other person is pulled away. And it felt like it got quiet. It felt like it really got quiet. But during that time, you also have to notice it felt like JT was kind of taking some wings of her own and decided that, you know, she was focusing on her solo situation. And now, mind you, Nicki Minaj has helped JT write one of her biggest records, No Bars, gave her some, you know, lyrics on that. So they were really in cahoots together. JT started taking off. Things started getting weird. You know, things started getting quieter for them. The celebrations have gotten quiet. People weren't talking. I called it out back in April. People thought I was lying. People thought it was, you know, I was reaching. And we still don't know. But to me, something is not right. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And so now here we are here. JT's album is out. Nicki Minaj is causing all kind of mayhem, posting pictures, old pictures. She's actively on Twitter why this conversation is happening around if she was shading JT or not. JT is not responding because JT is in her tracking week, so she's trying to make sure she gets all the sales and the numbers for her album this week. And Nicki Minaj has kind of, instead of, if you are cool, there's two things that Nicki Minaj could have done. You could have helped promote it and showed her love and support, streamed her music on Station Head for the 4 hours that you were on there, at least one of the songs, or congratulated her, seeing that you have helped her write, seeing that you have wanted her to be an affiliate to your label, seeing as you have brought her out on your tour, seeing as you have made her your profile picture, seeing as you have followed her on Twitter, seeing as you have endorsed her as the princess, all of these things, okay? Nicki Minaj never played one of her records on Station Head. Not only did she not do that, Nicki Minaj went out and talked in a riddle format, in a story time, and kind of insinuated some things that can be taken towards JT and as shade towards JT. And so now the Twitter timeline is in shambles with conversation around, did Nicki Minaj shade JT? Did Nicki Minaj and JT fall out? Instead of Nicki Minaj and the Barbs supporting JT on her independent, release or whatever the case may be, the conversation is what's going on with Nicki Minaj. And so for me, I feel like the two things that Nicki could have done was either show support or stay off the internet that day and maybe address her grievances with other people or other things and do her little riddles the next day. Because if I'm JT and say, let's say we don't have a problem, the fact that you are Nicki Minaj and once you get online and you do your talking and you talk in your circles, that's going to ignite your fans, and that's all the timeline is going to be about. And they've blended some of the fans together. A lot of Barbs are JT fans. And so if I'm JT, I'm going to feel like, okay, you wanted to distract from my moment because you didn't promote me, but you also didn't let me have a moment. You kind of wrecked the timeline. So if we weren't beefing, if I didn't think you were weird, I feel weird about you now because it's like, well, why would you do that on this day? And from previous conversations that we've had, because we've been in proximity to each other for a long time, many times, why would you do that on my biggest moment of my career yet? If you with me, you clearly don't with me like that because you couldn't even take a second to allow me to have this moment without wrecking the timeline, which are millions and millions of fans, and we're both female rappers and we're female rap peers, and you're supposed to be like a big sister to me. So I'm already gonna look at that like, okay, that was interesting. That was a little bit weird. Now, Nicki Minaj is steadily posting. So the fact that Nicki is posting, it tells me she did exactly what she wanted to do. She knows what the climate of the conversation is. And some of these whacks were for JT. In my opinion, she does not with JT anymore. That relationship has fizzled or is fizzling out. And I'm going to tell you why. So I listened on Station Head a little bit. I didn't listen to the full 2 hours Station Head because my brain was starting to hurt. However, the piece that I did listen to, she started off with a story about Little Red Riding Hood. And Little Red Riding Hood is the story, she's the grandmother is sick. The mom sends a bottle of wine and a bread with the daughter and to go walk down and not to get off path. But then the girl ends up running into the bad wolf, and the wolf asks her where she's going, and the girl tells her, hey, Little Red Riding Hood tells the wolf that, oh, I'm going to go help my grandmother. She's sick. And then the wolf throws the Little Red Riding Hood off and tells her to go pick some flowers, and meanwhile goes and eats the grandmother and sits in the chair and waits for Little Red Riding Hood to come home and then eats her too. So that's the story. So the moral of the story is don't get off the path, blah, 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 blah. So, and then that's where the story of what big grandmother, what big ears you have, what big teeth you have, what big arms you have. So, but Nicki's analogy was This it is similar to the Little Red Riding Hood, but this story has a twist. The wolf didn't go into the house because it would be too much to show their teeth. In this situation, the wolf sent somebody else into the house. However, the wolf knew everything that was going on in the house, knew the whole setup in the house, and instructed said person that can go in the house that was less aggressive looking, that was less alarming, someone that would fit in. The wolf sent that person into the house to collect all of the apples and oranges and jewels and tea and understanding and get the juice and get close and get connected. Take all of that and bring it back and share it with the wolf. And we're going to leave that house empty. But we're going to take everything we can and learn everything we can from the house, take it and use it over here. Now, how I interpreted that, and I'm going to be honest with you. Nicki said she keeps having to learn the same lesson over and over and over and over again. And she doesn't, and she has to accept that, she keeps making the same mistake. And so the way I took that, and another important thing that Nicki said, she said, it wasn't just about a person. I'm going to name them persons. So this is plural. So Nicki is now talking about multiple different people, but I do feel like JT is included. I feel like Ice Spice is included. I feel like Megan Thee Stallion is included. I feel like, hell, Doja Cat could somewhere be knocking on the door. But for sure Megan, for sure Ice Spice, and for sure JT. And JT because the timing of it all. So those are the persons. Now, just to make it simple, let's just say JT. JT is the person that the wolf sent in. Who is the wolf? Wolf could be P, QC, quality control, her label, The wolf could be Ice Spice's management team. The person is Ice Spice. You get what I'm saying? So how I interpret it is this. Nicki feels like the bigger powers at be, the labels, these managers, these people's teams, they send these girls in to get information, to understand the sauce, understand the marketing, understand the process, just learn how to be a better and successful female rapper in this game. Nicki's guard is down. She works with them. She likes them. They appear to like her. They come in as a friend. They come in as a supporter. They come in as a fan. They come in as a super fan. They come in as a person that loves her. And then they take it and they leave her empty. And in my mind, she didn't say these things. This is how I'm interpreted it. In my mind, when it comes to leaving her empty, it means you've gained all this knowledge from me, and now when I ask you to pay for it, or now when I ask you to move in, aka be a heavy on it affiliate, now that I ask you to sign a contract or give me rights to publishing, or let's do some business together, you're saying no because your team, the wolf, your label, your management team, whoever's over here, the men with the money and the power, they're saying that's not the best idea. And what these girls end up doing is say, I'm already signed to a label. Thank you. No thanks, but I'm kind of want to work independently on my own over here. We kind of got our things going, but thank you for everything that you gave me. I appreciate all of that, but no, thank you. I'll just take it and I'm going to bring it over here. And so Nicki is now feeling used and feeling some type of way because she's feeling fucked with no lube because she shared her house, she shared her resources, she told you the code to the safe, and now you're out doing similar things to her. So now she sees JT on Twitter connecting with the fans, doing contests. You know, she was talking about that months ago. She didn't say JT, but she was insinuating how these girls start trying to do things that Nicki does with her fans. So JT's the only girl that does that outside of Nicki Minaj in that way. Megan doesn't do that. Cardi B doesn't do that. Cardi B be going off on her people. So, and none of the other rap girls engage with their fans on Twitter like that. So that's how I interpreted it. Okay. And then I was reading certain comments that Nicki Minaj would like, or it would be certain comments that Nicki Minaj would engage in on the station head. So let me see if I have a couple of them. It was one by Tasha Minaj 90. You never give a snake a second chance to bite you. Nicki Minaj read that one out loud. Nicki Minaj read a comment. They're not good people at heart. Everything is about clout. She agreed with that, and I think she even gave out tickets to that. She also gave shouted out when a woman said bitches have no integrity. So Nicki Minaj went in to talk about how, you know, some of these girls won't stand up for what's right because they're afraid about the powers that be, or they want said opportunities, so they are not going to be loyal in a sense and stand up. So I say all that to say, I feel like, I don't know if Nicki and JT is beefing. I can't say that. I don't want to push that, but I don't feel like Nicki and JT would be beefing because JT is starting to be successful. Because JT is successful or is rolling out her album. I know a lot of people, it looks like it could be Nicki Minaj is upset when any girl tries to, you know, step out and be successful. I think, and I'm trying to be as neutral as possible, I think if Nicki Minaj is having the problem, she feels as though I think she feels used because it seems like JT, and I'm going to go both sides, but it seems like from Nicki's end, it seems like JT came in where she was talking about how she's never taken off the pink wig. She was a super fangirl. Remember, they were calling her a lap dog. She was tweeting about how much she loved Nicki so much. She was really engaging with Nicki so much. She was a super fangirl, almost to the point where she didn't even focus on her own stuff. She was Nicki. And then once Nicki's fans and Nicki got on her side and they started helping propel her and giving her the look, and she started getting the support and the people started to want to see her win. Once JT had started getting her own footing, then it kind of gave like, thank you, Nicki. Thank you for your services. But I'm good now. I'll take away everything else and I'm going to take it over here. So it kind of feels like now once you started kind of once you started getting lit, once you started getting to a point where you could stand on your own, the Nicki appreciation, the Nicki fandom, the Nicki support started to die down. And then on the back end, you didn't want to do Nicki business anymore, or you didn't want to do business with Nicki. However, Nicki was good for business when you needed the opportunity to build your brand and you needed the opportunity to market to new people, or you needed the opportunity to, you know, get a bigger fan base. Now that you feel like you have it and you're a little bit solidified and you can kind of walk on your own, now to Nicki, it seems as though the true colors come out. Now you don't really need her. So now you got what you wanted, and what you wanted was some momentum, some leverage. And now that Nicki has given you that or helped you with that, when she asks you to be an affiliate of her label or give you some publishing or give her some publishing or whatever the business part is, because I don't know. But now when she wants to do something on the business end, you're now saying, in my mind, you're tied up over here with your label. And you want to move in a different direction. So Nicki feels away. That's how I feel. And I feel like she feels that way with Ice Spice. And I feel that she feels that way with JT. I feel like Nicki Minaj feels played and used because when these girls come in, they come in as super fans. And then once they start getting their momentum, it feels like, okay, girl, I don't need you no more. So, all right. Yeah, I know we kind of talked about that. And I kind of did say I was going to sign with you. It did sound good. But now that I'm looking at everything, I can do this on my own. And I feel Nicki on that because it almost feels like, listen, girl, if that's what you want to do, come in with that. But you don't have to come in with this idea that you are just my friend and my fan and you love me and you have all this loyalty because you don't really truly believe in yourself and you're not really sure if the shit is going to take off for you. But then when you start to realize, oh, wow, it can really happen for me. Then all of a sudden you like, well, I don't want to deal with Nicki no more. I just was only dealing with Nicki because I thought this was the best that I was going to get. I thought this was the closest I was going to get. But now that I see that I can have a little bit of momentum by myself on my own, well, shit, I don't need you like I thought I did. I'm out. That's how I feel Nicki feels. Now, on the flip side, let's talk about JT. Nicki Minaj, at some point, and I just feel like as sharp and as clever and as witty as Nicki Minaj is, and I'm not saying, because I know nothing about the business, part of it, but it's like, if you're writing bars for this girl, make sure the business is done up front. I'm not understanding why Nicki Minaj is also not understanding that, yeah, while these girls like you, these girls are not your friend. If you were not Nicki Minaj, they probably wouldn't be as drawn to you as they are. And so, and it's nothing wrong with that, but you have to know they want something from you. And there's nothing wrong with that. They want to be as successful as you. It has nothing to do with them wanting to be better than you. It has nothing to do with them wanting to be bigger than you or more famous than you or to battle you. They just see, wow, this is what I can obtain in my life as an artist, as a female rapper, and I aspire to be that, and I want to do that. And if I'm allowed access to this person, I want to learn from her and do that. But I feel like Nicki somehow doesn't understand that sometimes. I don't understand how Nicki misses the fact that these girls want the sauce. That is why they're there. And that's not a problem. They want to learn it so that they can take it and move and do what they need to do to become as big as they possibly can. And why not get it from the best? But I think Nicki goes into things thinking that these are the girls, they fit the vibe check. This is my clique. They don't want to be your friend on that level. They want to say that they can call Nicki Minaj. They want to say they can get a feature with Nicki Minaj because that all adds up to that adds value. That gives them rank. And it's a part of the networking and the social game and the growing the career. And I know a lot of times that sounds bad, but it's not. You're supposed to work your way up. And if you're talented enough for a Nicki Minaj to notice you, you're doing the right things. And so I just think that I don't think JT is actually wrong for wanting to stand on her own and do her own thing. And I just hope that, she has told Nicki Minaj from the beginning what her plan was. But for me, if I'm on Nicki's side, I just feel like somehow there was a conversation that got missed because I feel like Nicki felt like she was under the impression that she was going to have an opportunity to work with JT or sign JT. But then again, maybe Nicki wasn't listening because there's many different clips on Station here where Nicki talks about JT needing to do what she needed to do so that Nicki can do what she needed to do so that the record that they have together could come out. And so that the record that they have together could have been featured on Nicki Minaj's album. That tells me in English, if JT signed this paperwork, signed this contract, I can sign my contract and we can release these records. And she can be on my album. The reason why the JT and Nicki Minaj record, it was about 2 or 3 records that they done together, but the reason why there's no JT Nicki Minaj record out is because JT didn't sign the proper paperwork that Nicki Minaj needed or wanted her to sign in order for Nicki Minaj to go ahead and feel comfortable releasing the record and further doing business. And for whatever reason, JT did not want to sign that paperwork or sign that contract or do that deal. And so that's why the records didn't come out. And in my opinion, if I'm listening using critical thinking, Nicki Minaj said, hey, Barbs, before we get into this, do you think that JT should be a heavy on it affiliate? Do you think that JT has reached her fullest potential? And I'm assuming that they said yes and no. And Nicki said, I agree. So y'all hit up JT and ask her, what's the holdup? So Nick, that tells me Nicki was ready to go, but JT was looking at the numbers in the papers and it was like, I don't want to do this. And ultimately, it turned into a situation where JT decided, hey, I'm going to choose me and choose what I want for my career. I feel like I'm at a good point. If Nicki doesn't understand it, if she doesn't want to work with me, it's no love lost. But I don't want to sign to you. I don't want to be locked into you or whatever it is. I just don't want that attachment. And Nicki feels a little bit played by it. But I just feel like on both ends, the conversation should have been made clear from the jump. And where Nicki messed up is that I don't know why she keeps thinking that artists and female rappers don't want to be, just want to be her friend. They don't. It's not about just being your friend. You're Nicki Minaj. And it's not about them using you. It's about the fact that you are the most successful to do it. So why wouldn't I want to learn from you? But while I want to learn from you, I don't necessarily want to sign with you. But if we can build this kind of rapport to where it's like, okay, you can mentor me, and then I take what I've learned from you, give you gratitude, show you respect, and then go off, and you can go do whatever you need to do and drift into the sunset, and we can maybe come back and collaborate later. I feel like that's what these girls want to do, but I think that these girls need to come in the game explaining that, and Nicki needs to explain what she wants off the gate and not trauma bond based off of dislike for one, or these other girls need to believe in themselves a little bit more and not look at Nicki as the pinnacle of like, all right, if I don't have any career, at least I got to meet Nicki Minaj and I got to be on a song with her and I'm cool with her, Because I feel like sometimes, even if Nicki would bring this up, hey, I need this, I need that, I want that. These girls are so giddy to be on the phone, giddy to be in the room. They're saying yes, 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 because in their mind, wow, in their mind is, wow, I'm here, I've made it. And to them at that point in time, that's the pinnacle. But then something happens. You get locked in, and then a new level unlocks. And then what happens? Why Nicki is feeling like, all right, I got one. She's cool. We working. Boom. Well, once the level unlocks, because now you've locked into the Nicki Minaj algorithm, a new door opens. A glimpse of hope opens. Bigger opportunities start to come. And so when you once were just trying to get on the phone with Nicki or just get a follow or a feature, once you've gotten that, and now you've been brought on stage, now people are like, well, wait, I could see me doing this now. The air is different up here. I've got more fans now. I've got this now. And so now you start to see, well, I can do this now. I don't just have to be here. I can actually go to the next level. And so that's typically what they do. And once that happens, there becomes a fallout because then they start to feel like, oh, I don't need, not that I don't need you, but maybe now that I'm here, I kind of want to try it on my own a little bit and see how it works for me. Because now I got the fans, I got the followers, I got the eyes on me. So maybe I want to kind of step out of your shadow a little bit and see how the people will receive me. And that's fine. It's nothing wrong with that. But I think that Nicki ends up feeling the way because that's not perceivably how they came in. How they came into her is they were wanting to be a part of her team and help build her label and build her brand and be a girl's girl and work with her. But them girls don't be honest about what they truly want. And I think the lesson here is everybody should be honest about what their end goal is. What do you want out of this relationship? What do you want out of this deal? And if we can be honest from the jump, I think some of these issues, no matter what girl or who she's talking about, these issues will not be issues in the future. But I think on the other side, these girls come in and they think that, and I don't know if they don't believe in themselves all the way, or they just try to dim their light just to get in. And then when they see an opportunity, they be like, all right, this is what I really want. But then they'll just say they'll agree to things just to keep the other person feeding them. But in the back of their mind, they have no intention on actually committing to what they said they would do when that day comes. I don't know. But it feels like a miscommunication, and it also feels like everybody does not or didn't know each other's true intentions, or they didn't understand what each other wanted out of the deal from the beginning. I feel like a clear boundary was not set. I think that Nicki Minaj needs to stop trying to work with girls off the strength first and off of girl code and energy, and then thinking and also thinking that these girls do not want to be megastars. Like, you have to stop thinking that these girls are okay just being in your shadow. They're not. There's not one of these girls that are going to be okay being in your shadow, especially when they get a piece of the electricity. And it's fair though. Like, you got to understand the power that you hold. And I feel like as cocky and as confident as Nicki is, she doesn't understand. But it's like you're looking at these girls and they're looking at you from way down here. And then when they get there, that's one thing. But then once they actually lock and plug in, a whole new level opens up. You don't think that they're going to want to see what that's given? And then don't let them get a taste of it by themselves. They're going to want to move out of your shadow. So you have to understand that that's what it's given and be okay with that and understand that, or don't work with them, or make it very clear in the beginning, lock them into contract. So when they do that shift over, you don't have to feel away because you already got what you need. You got your payment up front. And these other girls need to be honest. Stop trying to come in as a super fan. Stop trying to come in as the young, humble girl that's just happy to be a part and happy to be recognized. Because at the end of the day, when that door opened and that level is unlocked, you know that you're going to want to step out of her shadow and try it on your own. And that's fair, but be honest about it. So those are my thoughts on that. To wrap it up, do I feel like JT and Nicki Minaj are a little bit at odds? Absolutely. I feel like the business wasn't right. I feel like it was a miscommunication. I don't feel like Nicki Minaj is jealous of JT stepping out and doing her thing. I feel like she feels used again. And I feel like JT probably came in too strong as a super fan and kind of was a little misleading in her messaging and in her support. And I don't think that JT was all the way completely honest about what her end goal was. But I feel like that because I feel like JT also wasn't sure. So she was genuinely happy to be around Nicki. She was genuinely happy to have that look because she was coming from a girl group that literally sold 6,000 copies and they were flopping all over the place. But then I don't think that she realized that, oh my God, people like me. I could do it. This is my time to finally try to be JT the rapper. And she's taking it. And she made that decision. And at the end of the day, she did what she had to do for her. And It might cost her the relationship, but hey, you got to bet on yourself. So at the end of the day, those are my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Nicki's a problem? Do you think JT's a problem? Or do you think it was just a bad communication? I'd be interested to know what you guys think. And until next time, keep that same energy. Make it plain and make it clear. And I'll see you soon. Peace out.